Alright, got that cut off of there. And of course I forgot, did like I did last time. I use the Sawzall blade to cut through here to save the cutoff wheels. The Sawzall blade, it's a little rougher cutting, but it's faster and cheaper. I don't use many cutoff blades, but end up cutting through that like I did the other side, and I forgot, but I'll just weld it back up. It ain't no big deal. Right here on this quarter panel, it might be hard to see here. This little piece right here, you can see that part has to stay. So you don't want to cut it all the way off, because your quarter panel laps up over and goes in behind there, and you got to put plug welds on the back side, or if you have a pinch welder, use a pinch welder. I don't have that. But and you got to get from inside the car and weld it from this side back here. So your quarter panel, when you got it off, you have to mark your holes and drill like maybe 2 or 3 holes across there that are, some people use 1/4 inch, some people use 5/16, but whatever drill bit size you decide to use, drill those out. That way you'll have that area to spot weld. Now, something else that's of key importance here is this piece right here. I don't know if it's hard to see. I got this other light on. It's probably causing a glare. But you don't want to cut through and cut that out, because that is separate from this part. Those are 2 different layers of metal. This piece back here is what holds your striker bolt and the pin, where it's just up and down. And whenever you cut, I cut a little too close here, so I'm gonna have to weld that back. But this piece here comes out and it's got like a 90-degree little elbow on it, or if you want to call it that. But that's where the other quarter panel sits over the top of, and that's what holds it in place and regulates how deep it goes in or out. So when you cut off in here, what I'm going to do is get my DA and just sand the paint off in areas and find where the plug welds are at, or the pinch welds. And then once I find them, there'll be paint left in there, and it'll go down to primer or bare metal or whatever all around the pinch weld. Then I know where to drill my pinch welds out. And I can take them out of there and get that loose. And also, it's going to have pinch welds across here too, down this area, and right across there. But that's a tricky thing. You can't just get gung-ho crazy and start cutting on here, because you'll cut something off that is valuable, and you may have to buy another part or go get another part off another car, which these Novas are getting harder and harder to find. It's not like Chevelles and Mustangs. They're just about everywhere. You can find them things. You know, of course, they're getting harder to find too, but a 2-door Nova is getting really, really hard to find. But so let's see what else we can talk about here. It's all dirty. I should have cleaned it out. But, you can see right there. There's all those pinch welds. See where the little indentations are? So that part there you got to keep. And this is part of the quarter panel, and it's got to come off. See? All of that goes around in here and right there too. So, like I said, I don't know if Auto Metal Direct sells this inner piece here or not. But when you cut off, you can go ahead and cut straight through here and cut that off. And then right here, where that is, you cut on this side and cut that off. That gets this piece out of the way right here, and you'll be able to get inside back there and drill your spot welds out. I don't know if we'll be able to see them or not. You can't really see them. It's got black paint from the factory on it. But, let me see what else to talk about here. Right here, this is, I can't remember what this piece is called. It's, I think it's a rare package shelf tray, something like that, or I can't remember the exact name of it. But, I've already replaced this on my car. And it sets on top of where the quarter panel goes. So, since I've already welded this in once, I'm going to have to draw my plug welds out again because this quarter panel slides up underneath the edge of that. I guess if a person wanted to, they could set it on top of there, but you know, it's going to cause about the thickness of a dime as to, you know, where your trunk rate adjusts, all this and that. So, realistically, the quarter panel needs to slide underneath that. So, got to drill these plug welds out here, get them out, and what I plan on doing, when I cut some more, is I'm going to cut up in here, get that out, and then I can get up underneath here after I drill the plug welds out, and I could, since this will be out of the way pretty much, I could bend this inner lip down with vice grips or channel locks or whatever, and get in there, and then get a flat chisel, and I can get under there and bend that upwards just a little. That way I can get the quarter panel back underneath it, and then bend that back down, clamp it, do whatever, put sheet metal screws in there to hold it in place, and get it all welded. Let's see, this part in here, this part right there, got a little rust coming through there, gotta clean up. I guess that happened when I welded the taillight panel in last time. Anyway, let's see if I can see this better. There's a little piece there that's about 1 inch wide that comes across, and that is what your I think this is called the trunk channel, this piece right here. You can buy these separately. Auto Metal Direct sells those. You can get those, but I'm not going to cut that apart there because my quarter panel I got, it's going to lap over and come down into here, if I remember for sure. Don't get me to lying to you. I'll probably have to add more to this video and cut it in later or edit it or whatever, but I got the quarter panel out in my other shed and I don't have it right here close to look at it. Make sure what I need to do. I need to get it out here. But tell you a mistake I made on this side. When I did this quarter panel, I took my cutoff wheel and I cut all the way through right there. And when I did that, I cut that little channel right there. And that's what the taillight panel or the quarter panel sits on, and the trunk channel. So you gotta make sure you don't cut that off, and then when you're cutting the quarter panel off, just go around the perimeter of it. Cut out here, all the way around there. You see how I've done. That way you can get back in here and you can kind of get a chisel or a screwdriver or whatever and roll it away and find out what comes apart where. And then you find your plug welds and drill them out. Now something else, when you're cutting this part of the quarter panel off, you got to make sure, see I've already replaced these outer finger welds because mine were rusted through, and I did my own mini tubs on the inside. Those weren't rusted, but I cut them apart, split them out, and I've added about 3 inches of metal in there. I don't know how wide the AMD quarter panels or mini tubs are, but mine I've added approximately 3 inches to. But when you're cutting this off, you want to make sure that you don't let your cutoff wheel or your sawzall go too deep. It's best, in my opinion, to use a cutoff wheel around this area. That way you don't go through there, because you see how close it is. I probably couldn't stick 2 quarters stacked up in between there. So what I'll do after since I've got this away, I'll come back with the DeWalt grinder and the cutoff wheel, and I'm going to cut real shallow, cut into here, go around there. That way I can get in there and roll this away, and then find where all my spot welds are. And you can see where I didn't put any primer on that, and the rain over the years has started rusting it. So get that away through, but I can pretty much see where my welds are there, so I may not have to cut this anymore. But this part down here, there, down stays. That's the rocker panel, unless of course your rocker panel's damaged or rusted or whatever. So right now I think that's about all. Make sure I may be reiterating here, I may have already talked about it, but that middle lip right there, that is part of the tail light panel. You want to keep that. You don't want to cut into here. And you know, you can cut right across here. Let me grab a screwdriver. That way I can just kind of run it across instead of using my fat nubby fingers. But you take your cutoff wheel. You can cut around there if you want, but do that after you cut the quarter panel off. Just my opinion. Or if you want to, you can take and pry these things apart, but you know, you got to watch and make sure. You're going to bend this metal a little, unfortunately, and that's just part of it. But once you get it apart and you get the welds drilled out, the plug welds, then you take a dolly hammer, flatten things back out, get it how it needs to be, and then it'll be ready to weld back together. But this part right here stays, and this the quarter panel actually stops right here. I don't know if you can see it, but that little piece of metal sticking out, that's part of this rear pan. I want to leave that. And this car, I don't know if all Novas are this way, but the quarter panels that were on here from the factory, they were pinched in and dented pretty hard, just like this one is. I don't know if you can see it, but I had to clamp it in, and it caved it in there quite a bit. But it's in behind the bumper. I have thought about tucking my bumpers on here and narrow them. I don't know if I'm going to do it because it's a lot of work. That's why they charge so much money to do it. But if I was to do that, what my idea is take this piece here that I've got. If I do decide to tuck the bumpers, I'm going to cut that out. And what I was going to do was just swap sides. That way this side is over there. And you see how this is curved out? Well, if I take this piece here and put it on the other side, then it's going to be recessed inside. And that's going to give it about 3/8 of an inch. Where you could suck the bumper in that much more. My dilemma here is 3/8 of an inch on each side worth all that trouble? I'm kind of thinking no. So I haven't made up my mind 100% yet, but that's an idea I've had. And of course here too, when you cut this, don't cut from the bottom up. So as you can see here, there's the quarter panel, and this part here is part of the rear drop-off pan, or the trunk drop-off pan. It goes right here, and it's a separate piece. It's a, let me see if I can look. Yeah. See right here? Those are the pinch welds for it. This is a panel here. It goes all the way up into there and across, and it just pinches to the trunk pan. And you got to clamp it together. Or, since I don't have a whole lot of them super big C-channel vice grips because it gets expensive keeping all them or buying all them, I just put it together. I run sheet metal screws there. I get a box of them. I think they were like $40 a couple of years ago when I bought them. They're little self-tapping sheet metal screws. I get them and I put it together with that. I hold it together, get everything fit where I want it, and then I mark where I want my holes, and I drill either a 5/16 or a 1/4 inch hole. And then I go back and I plug weld those holes that I drilled. After I plug weld them, I take the sheet metal screws out, and then I go back and I weld up the holes where the sheet metal screws were at. Then I seam seal all over it. So this video here is getting 15 minutes long, and I'm gonna have to piece it into the other one that I got. But that is what I've got so far, and I think I've probably been working on it 25-30 minutes so far. I've spent probably 3/4 as much time talking about getting it off as I did cutting it off. But Getting ready to go in there and tackle this. Like I said, I'm going to get my DA sander and some 80 grit. Knock the paint off of that, find out where the pinch welds are. And get my spot weld cutter and then start cutting spot welds. Probably do that for a little while and then call it a night. Go take a bath. Get back out here tomorrow sometime and start on it again.